Hey everybody. All right, so we're going to do an AI versus trainer, and a portion of the information we're talking about today is coming from the panel I'm speaking on from Humans versus AI. So if you're coming from that summit, the Human Automation Summit, to this video, please drop a comment. Tell us that's how you found us. Follow our channel. This is so important to the work that is being done, no matter what industry, no matter your age or what kind of work you're doing, because it's influencing the generation of workers that is coming in. It's influencing our students and our teachers. So I'm really excited to have been asked to participate in this panel discussion, and then it led right to our AI versus trainer series. So please go back and visit the summit. I will tag some links here in the notes and then add to the conversation below because this isn't going away. And I think it's a great tool. We've been doing this for quite some time. So this panel that these questions are coming from is specifically talking about humans and AI. And we're going to talk about two questions that have been posed to the panel. I'm going to give you what my answer is, and then I'm going to show you what CHAT GPT gave as their answer. And I think these are really adding to the networking of questions and how you can use AI. I will say right now that as we've been doing this series, it has become very obvious that the prompts that you can put into any AI should be gathering up in your kind of book of tools or prompts like you network. I think that's kind of been the one lesson that I've taken as this has come to fruition. Everybody should have a good AI prompt, and you should be gathering them up for the day that you need them. So let's get started. So one of the questions that's going to be asked of the panel today is, what ethical or practical considerations do you keep in mind when using AI generated content for decisions in your business? I really love this because I think that we hear a lot of odd stories being told when resumes are submitted, and you can tell that there's blatant disregard for the role that is being applied for. I have a very dear friend who teaches seventh and eighth grade. She can tell when an assignment has been submitted and it's not in that seventh, eighth, ninth grade tone, because seventh, eighth, and ninth graders don't write in that vocabulary or that verbiage. So there is 100% a way to calibrate what comes out of an AI generator. There's a great book written by the founder of Khan Academy, and he talks about really learning to put rails on AI and calibrate it. So the ethical or practical considerations that are being talked about in this question are very key. My answer as a trainer is you have to edit what you generate. Even in a Google prompt before AI was relevant, we made sure that we read through what the choices were, and you learned very quickly the first response that Google gave you wasn't always the best one. The same thing goes into effect here. The other thing that I think I have figured out is that you have to tell AI to maintain your tonality. It is still artificial, right? That's comes with the letters. It is artificial intelligence. So you have to teach it to maintain your tone, and you have to suggest changes when it gives its initial output. I think anybody who's using its initial output is selling themselves short and not utilizing the technology for everything that it is. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share this screen, which we don't normally do for this series, but I think it gives you the best shot here. So here's the question. We're using ChatGPT today. Two big things. Transparency and bias. So they're suggesting that you disclose that you're using an AI for your response. Um, that your response is not just magic. They're also suggesting that this would be the same thing in Excel or Canva. So let's talk through this. AI is a tool. And if you use it in that manner, you would still have to put a human power behind it. No different than using a hammer or using a screwdriver. You are still powering Excel. You're still powering Canva. So very similar. I don't know that any of us think business is magic. So same thing. This is also suggesting the bias. So if AI pulls from a biased data set, it can reinforce the stereotypes or blind spots. That means you have to double check the conclusions. Okay, so we're agreeing here that you may have to edit the response, especially in hiring and leadership spaces where fairness is critical. So I think that again, if you have just started using your AIs, there's tons of them. We love them. We like Claude. We like Copilot. We like Chat around here. Um, you begin to train the AI to function in a way that you like to interact with it. It will train to your bias, and I think you have to be kind of cautious to the input and the output. We asked a group of people that we work with pretty consistently what their AI prompts would be if they made a recommendation. And one of the comments from a very dear friend of mine was garbage in, garbage out. If you know you have a strong bias, you may have to prompt, hey, avoid my bias, or hey, be cautious of my bias depending on the prompt. Let's talk about one more here. So the question is, what's one AI use case, prompt, or workflow that you love but don't hear people talking about enough? So again, we went to our LinkedIn Boost group. If you'd like to know more about that, again, you can drop Boost group in the comments here. That's a group that we source that's large and helps people break the LinkedIn algorithm, and asked them what their favorite AI prompt is. I think we got some really great information in that question. Some people don't gather those prompts like they network, and that is a shortcoming because it becomes less of a tool and more of a an anomaly. Like they're not using it for all that it is. Out of that group, we got some really great information. Be specific in your ask. Hold the AI back a touch and say, don't make changes for me, make suggestions. This is from somebody who's a TEDx speaker, and his use of the product has really evolved as he's been a part of this group. We've used AI examples as far as the medical field and some of the huge advancements that's happening there. You can go back on our podcast and see that. One of the suggestions was to use it to summarize complex processes and reports to help eliminate the brain drain when using huge projects and trying to be more efficient. That was a huge one. Lisa did an amazing one there. The other one was being very clear about what you're asking AI for. I love this one. So we can't assume that your AI, no matter how well trained, will think like you do. Last tip, and I have a ton more, so hopefully you went to this summit, is to prompt your AI with your voice, not your typing. I love this. So if you are someone who can voice to text, and we are more specific and more thorough if we talk to our AI prompt rather than type it. We tend to be a little bit more hesitant if we type. So do a few AI prompts by talking to it and see if you get more. I am going to give a ton more suggestions in the summit. So if you need a link to the summit, let me know and I'll tag back. All right, let's see what AI said here. They are saying, use it as a role play partner. whether it's in your negotiation prep, your interview practices, almost like a sparring partner. And again, I love this. I have a client who says AI is up at 24 hours a day. They'll talk to me anytime. And that is very true. If you've got odd hours, that's really true. I also use AI in this. If I have an email or a document that I know is droning on, kind of like I feel like we're doing right now, it will make it much more concise. If you're only using it to do text output, that is kind of unfortunate, as they are mentioning here. But I think that you have the ability to really become a better writer if you're willing to edit and make sure there's no weird, comments or misspellings or anything in there if you use AI. All right, thanks so much. We love doing AI versus trainer. If there's a prompt or a question you have about AI or an AI platform, please don't hesitate to let us know. And we can jump into Notebook. We can do all kinds of great things for you. But make sure you're using AI. Practice with it, play with it, do good things with it, and we'll come back with your prompt if you'd like.